developing countries have been enacting laws aimed at food security. Mauritius, for example, enacted a food security fund to enhance local production of food by tackling all the problems militating against it. The importance of this bill to our growing economy can easily be seen in the objectives and purposes of the bill contained in Section 3 of the bill. They include: A, to provide a framework that promotes the realization of the right to freedom from hunger and access to food of acceptable quality as a fundamental human right. B, to provide a framework that promotes the elimination and prevention of discrimination of marginalized groups in the access and distribution of food.
Food security is so critical that one of the first protests that was recorded in Bible history had to do with the issue of food. When Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt, they came to a point where a massive protest arose as a result of hunger. Food, therefore, is so critical that it's one of the basic needs, if not the primary need, of humanity. In addressing this bill, Mr. President, I want to highlight just two issues, and that is about availability and accessibility. We talk about food security. The first and major thing is to make food available. And availability is a function of production, of food production, which is also contingent on how well our farmers are empowered to grow and produce farm crops and products. And that will require the introduction and application of applicable and appropriate technology to modernize and upgrade our farming practices, which is largely peasant agriculture, to mechanized farming. There is also the need that if we must have food security and to strengthen production, that we must empower our farmers with credit facilities at concessional rates that will bring bank interest to one-digit margin. In also addressing the issue of production, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, one issue that has constituted a threat to production of food in the country is the insecurity that we have witnessed for quite some time now, from insurgency to banditry, which has led to displacement of most farming communities, and that is a major threat to food production, which now constitutes a threat to food security in our country. The second point is that of accessibility. And next to food availability is accessibility. If food is available, the next thing is how empowered are our citizens for them to buy the food that is available. So if you tackle the issue of availability, the next is accessibility. And one of the greatest threats to accessibility is poverty. And given the level of poverty in this country, many citizens and households do not have the wherewithal to secure and have access to sustainable food and feeding. So if we must address this, we need to tackle the issue of poverty. Otherwise, food security and accessibility will largely remain a mirage.
When you say somebody possesses a fundamental rights and to have freedom from hunger. Automatically what you do is you are making that justiciable under our law. So while in principle, the bill is fundamentally in consonance with the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians, when it comes to committee level, it's important that we understand the fact that those rights and freedoms that have been guaranteed internationally have been domesticated by the various countries in their constitution. And Mr. President, you will have had the opportunity to read the contents of our constitution, and you will have seen that that right is not particularly mentioned in the constitution. And then we are trying to make a law. Under our jurisprudence, we cannot make a law to override the constitution because the constitution is the grand norm. So maybe what we do is that in its contents, we remove the freedom, and then we put right. And then we see how we can project certain provisions of the bill to make those rights available to youths in this country, the children in particular, so that we do not run foul of our constitution, and then somebody can just go and say that we do not possess the power to make that law.
A bill for an act to make provisions for freedom from hunger and the right to adequate food of acceptable quality, the right of every child to basic nutrition, and for connected purposes 2019 second reading taken, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development to report back within 4 weeks.